Hello everybody, Trevor here, and welcome to another Top 5 video. Since March is here and St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner, let's do a Top 5 Irish characters in fiction. But the real reason I'm making this video is that I've been given a request to do a video on Irish characters since I've done a couple videos on pirates and Scottish characters. Now, I was going to change my avatar for this one, but since Trevor the Traction Engine is already green, I'm just going to keep him as my avatar for the most part on this channel. To those of you who are wondering, no, I'm not Irish. I'm an American with Swedish heritage. Let's talk about St. Patrick's Day. It is a cultural and religious holiday founded by St. Patrick himself, who died on March 17th, and since then, St. Patrick's Day was made an official Christian feast day in the early 17th century and was observed by several churches, including the Lutherans. As for my thoughts on St. Patrick's Day, I'll admit, it is interesting, but the one thing I don't like about it is the one prank where you get pinched by someone if you don't wear anything green. And in my opinion, it's rude and very uncalled for. But enough about that. Let's begin my top 5 Irish characters in fiction. Number 5 is Sheamus from Mary Poppins Returns. Sheamus is a kind-hearted dog and a coachman. He has a talking horse named Clyde. After his carriage wheel was fixed, he gave Mary Poppins and the gang a ride to the music hall. I like this character not only for his friendliness, but I also think his voice actor, Chris O'Dowd, did an excellent job with his voice. I've decided to put him as number 5 because he's a minor character, and only appeared in a couple scenes. One of them being my favorite, which involves him chasing after the bad guys who kidnaps Georgie, which in my opinion is such a badass scene. Oh, and did you know that Chris O'Dowd was originally going to voice Tigger in the live-action Christopher Robin movie before being replaced by Jim Cummings? Yeah, I wouldn't blame the fans for it because I always recognized Jim Cummings as Tigger better. Otherwise, it'd be weird. Number 4 is a different Sheamus from Theodore Tugboat, my second favorite preschool show of all time. Sheamus is a sea trawler who was encased in ice during the majority of his first appearance, which was Theodore and the Ice Ship. When George first saw him covered in ice, he thought it was an old abandoned shipwreck, but when Theodore and Hank made the ice ship laugh, which caused the ice chunks to fall off, he and Sheamus became good friends in the end. Honestly, when I first saw this character on the Theodore's Exceptional Friends VHS, I thought he looked pretty cool. I just wish they made an Ertl diecast model of him. But the reason he's number 4 is because he only appeared in 3 episodes of Season 3, and that's it. I kinda wish he appeared in later seasons just so he can have more screen time and character growth. But oh well, beggars can't be choosers. Number 3 is Boomer. No, not P.T. Boomer. I'm talking about Boomer from Tugs. Boomer is a red tugboat who resides upriver. He was formerly known as Captain Harry, but was later renamed Boomer. And after a series of incidents with bad luck, he was finally converted to a houseboat, which made him very happy. He now resides in an upriver jetty called Duntuggin. What I like about Boomer is not only his Irish accent provided by Lee Cornes, or Cornes, where he pronounces his last name, but I couldn't help but feel sympathetic towards him because throughout the episode, he was having bad luck, as I've stated before. His pessimistic and bitter personality reminds me a lot like Arbo from Theodore Tugboat. Here's a fun bit of trivia. His model was originally used as Sea Rogue's uncle in the second episode called Pirate. And even though he only appeared in Jinxed as well as a cameo in Upriver, he had 2 major roles in Salty's Lighthouse, where in one episode, he lost his bad luck by towing in a schooner, and another one similar to how he was in Jinxed, but was turned into a vacation boat in the story told by 10 Cents. In my honest opinion, as much as I enjoyed Salty's Lighthouse, but I would prefer the original Jinx story in terms of consistency and writing. Number 2, Luke from Thomas and Friends. Luke is a narrow gauge engine from Ireland who came to Sodor on a ship along with a yellow Victor. When he asked to be lifted up first, he accidentally knocked Victor off the ship, but luckily, he landed on a jetty, which stops him from sinking to the bottom. This event caused Luke to feel very guilty and asked Thomas and the other narrow gauge engines to keep it a secret because he's afraid that if Mr. Percival finds out about what happened, he would be sent away. But Thomas was determined to prove Luke innocent by finding the truth about what happened to the yellow engine. If you've watched my long video where I reviewed every single Thomas movie and special in existence, then you probably remember hearing my thoughts on Blue Mountain Mystery, which is Luke's first major role. I've also mentioned Luke in my top 6 narrow gauge engines video, and I'll try to keep it brief here. What I like about Luke is that he's such a sweet and lovable character, and he's not annoying at all. I even thought that Michael Legg's voice is perfect for the character. My favorite episode starring him was Luke's New Friend, where he befriends a wild deer that accidentally enters the Blue Mountain Quarry. And because of the noise there, he had to take the baby deer back to his home in the park. And yeah, I'll admit that this was a pretty sad goodbye between him and the deer. It's just like in the Theodore Tuppo episode Whale of a Tug, where Theodore had to let his friend Walter go back home out in the ocean. But sadly, he's one of the only few youthful narrow gauge engines along with Millie and Ivo Hugh. Ever since Big World Big Adventures was announced, I was hoping they would introduce more youthful characters on the Scarlet Railway along with some more females, but no, it never happened. Now before I get to my number 1 pick, here are a couple honorable mentions. Various characters from the Cartoon Saloon films such as Song of the Sea and Wolfwalkers. So far, I haven't watched all the Cartoon Saloon films, though they are really good, and I did enjoy Song of the Sea so far, but I have yet to see Wolfwalkers and The Secret of the Kells. Digby the Cable Ship from Theodore Tugboat. At first, my dad and I thought he had an Irish accent due to his funny sounding voice, but according to the Theodore Tugboat wiki, he speaks with a Newfoundland accent, which is a type of Canadian dialect. So that's why he got replaced by Sheamus the Sea Trawler. And my number 1 most favorite Irish character in fiction is Lucky the Leprechaun. I know that this is a crazy choice for number 1, but I can't help but enjoy the Lucky Charms cereal. I also enjoy the commercials in my youth where Lucky was being chased by a bunch of children who wanted his cereal. When I was young, my dad and I would make fun of the Lucky Charms brand by saying Yucky Harms, though I was shocked that we weren't the only ones who made it up. There was a short parody on YouTube called Yucky Harms, and they also said, "They're tragically malicious." Man, I hate when someone steals our jokes unintentionally. But let's talk about the commercials themselves. Lucky has been the mascot of Lucky Charms since the 1960s. He was originally voiced by Arthur Anderson until 1992. Lucky was briefly replaced by Waldo until General Mills decided to bring the original mascot back. You see, in the early commercials, Lucky wasn't as friendly as he is now, hence why he was temporarily replaced by Waldo in New England. But thanks to Waldo, Lucky became a much more friendly character than he was before. If you want more information on this, then I suggest you watch Vale Ski Bomb 94's video on the subject. While Lucky Charms isn't very healthy, but I still consider it one of my favorite cereals of all time due to its delicious oats and marshmallows. Now let me know in the comments section on which of these Irish characters are your favorite. Do you agree with my list, or do you have your own personal preference? As for my next video, I want to give my honest thoughts on the new 2022 Wooden Railway line, so stay tuned for that. This is Trevor Davis, and I hope you all have a happy St. Patrick's Day.